Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are in Paula's kitchen. This is our third installment for the year 2022. And as you're watching this, it is Easter and Passover week around the world. So today we decided to get in the mood with something that is often served at Easter and Passover, and that is spring lamb. I went to our butcher shop and I picked up an Australian leg of lamb. Oh my goodness, we are so excited. And wait till you see what we're going to do with it, how we're going to prepare it. My friend Rachel gave me this cookbook just recently called Cowgirls in the Kitchen. It was published in 2016 and it has wonderful recipes as well as really cool old black and white photos of cowgirls from back in the day. And it is going to be a crock pot recipe for our lamb. Let's look at what's going in the crock pot. I have my beautiful lamb. It calls for a 3-pounder. This is for boneless and tied. We are going to also layer on some baby potatoes, carrots, and onion. And then for the flavoring, we're going to do beef broth, thickened with a little flour, some balsamic vinegar, olive oil, because we're going to brown this meat, tomato paste, garlic powder, oregano, basil, salt, and pepper. Any of you who cook in a crock pot, you know that it's tender and savory, and it's going to be a one-dish meal as well. It's a win-win-win all the way around. Never made this. We're going to make it together. Let's get going. Here we are at our work area, and the very first thing we need to do is grab some cooking spray. I got some Pam here, and I have my old relic. I can't tell you how old this crock pot is, but you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's my rival crock pot, and I am happy to be putting it to good use. So I'm just going to spray the inside of this with some cooking spray. And that's all the prep we need for that guy. I'm going to set it aside. Let me just dump it over here for a moment. Now, we are going to prepare, if you cook in a crock pot, you know that things happen in layers. So we're going to prepare the savory flavoring layer that's going on the bottom of the crock pot. Very first thing we need is a cup of beef broth. So I'm going to pour that in to a mixing bowl here. And then, let me refer to my recipe, I then need 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. And I have a little butter knife that I can scoop that out and into the beef broth. Tomato paste is a wonderful flavoring for everything, although I don't know that I've ever put it in lamb, so this will be interesting. Then we go for the herbs and spices next. I have 1 tablespoon of dried oregano and 1 tablespoon of dried basil. So that's going in. I'm sorry, teaspoon. What am I saying? 1 teaspoon of each. And then for some flavoring, I have a half a teaspoon each of garlic powder, salt, and pepper. So all that's going in. And let me just give that a stir. I'm sorry, I forgot one other thing. It's right in front of me and I forgot it. 1/4 cup of flour. So that's going to create somewhat of a thickening agent for us as this cooks. So I'm going to give that all a good stir and get it all mixed together. And then it's going in the bottom of the crock pot. I have to give a shout out to some friends of ours from over in Pennsylvania that helped with set decorating today for our Easter theme. That beautiful bunny behind me and the artwork on the refrigerator are courtesy of Kathleen and her granddaughter Bryn. And I have to say thank you so much for helping to make our kitchen festive today. All right, so let me get these couple of lumps out of the flour here. I think I need to smush them a little bit. And then we will be back with the next step. So that didn't take long. I just had to do a little smushing on those and I had to incorporate the tomato paste a little bit better. But now it is ready and that becomes the bottom layer in the crock pot. Cameraman Dale came over here and poked his nose in it. He said it smells like a campfire. I got no problem with that. That sounds great. It's a Cowgirl cookbook, so I guess that goes. All right, in this lovely herby mixture go some new potatoes. It calls for a pound, so these little baby reds are adorable. I'm going to put those in. It's about a pound. I love that we can now buy these baby potatoes, both the Yukon Golds and the red potatoes, in the grocery store. I am all about them. I love them. I also need 4 large carrots rough cut, so those are going in. And the instructions say to put all this in a single layer, so let me see if I can accomplish that as best I can. And then of course our rolled up boneless leg of lamb is going to sit on top of these. And actually the next step is we need to pull out a big old frying pan and we need to brown that lamb. So let me rearrange here. I'll be right back. I just turned the fire on under my big old Riiitt frying pan and I pulled my beautiful leg of lamb out of the fridge. So I need to grab 1 tablespoon of olive oil and we're going to sear this on all sides. And the instructions say don't rush this step. It could take 8 to 10 minutes to accomplish this. And I know that that's just going to be the key to wonderful flavor. Let me get this coated nicely. It's funny, cameraman Dale said, "You're going to put it in a frying pan with the string?" And the answer is yes. Absolutely. All right, first time I'm going to drop it fat side down. Ooh, sizzle baby. Wow, that's a beautiful thing. You know, not everyone loves lamb, but I'm going to say Dale and I absolutely do love lamb, and we are really, really excited about having this particular treatment of it. So we're going to let this cook for 8 to 10 minutes, and as we go along, I'll come back and show you. When we do the first flip, I'll definitely show you. Hey, before I go away though, little public service announcement. We love to give stuff away, Dale and I, and in the last episode of Paula's Kitchen, we gave away some aprons, which we were really happy to do. But you have to help us out. If we tell you you won, you have to give us an address, because otherwise we can't ever send you your prize. And so you have to either respond in the YouTube comment or via Facebook, Instagram, our email. All the ways to connect with us are always down in the description box. So this is for Debbie in Nebraska. I don't know where to send the apron, so please tell me. All right, this is gonna cook, and I will be back for the big reveal when we flip it over. All right, let's turn this over. All right, that's 4 pounds. It's kind of heavy. Oh boy, look at that. My goodness, it's a beauty. So I'm gonna finish it on this side, and then I'm gonna have to stand it up and do both sides, and also just a couple moments on the end. So I will show you the finished product in just a few minutes. Well, we are hoping that the fire alarm doesn't go off here in the house, the smoke alarm. This is done, and it goes on top of my potato and carrot layer. Then, in my hot pan, I'm going to drop in 1 sweet onion that has been thinly sliced. And I'm going to cook those for a little while. They don't say to brown them, they just basically say to cook them until they're soft. And then I'm going to deglaze the pan with a little bit of balsamic vinegar and water, and then this puppy is going in the oven. So I've got 3/4 cup of warm water here, and I have not opened this balsamic, so turns out my balsamic had a little pull tab. So this is 3/4 cup of warm water, 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, and I'm going to deglaze my onion pan with this. I am to cook and stir for 2 minutes on this, basically to, I think, bring all the lamb flavoring that's in the olive oil and in the bottom of the pan. I'm going to give you a twofer today. Since it is a holiday meal, and you know I'm such a humongous fan of muffins, I want to make a muffin that is going to complement our lamb. I found something in my muffin cookbook called Mediterranean herb muffins. That sounds just right. So once this gets cooking, we're making muffins. 2 minutes, we're done. The onions and the balsamic in the water are all done and sizzling, and now we're going to pour it over our lamb. I'll tell you what, this crock pot is about full. I don't think it could hold any bigger of a lamb than this one. Let me just grab those last onions because I'm an onion fanatic and I'm going to want to eat those for sure. So I've got a lid for my rival crock pot, and this baby is going on high. I'm going to go with 4 hours, I think, because I just want it falling apart tender, and it is a 4-pounder, so it's bigger than the recipe called for. So this is going. Let me clean up my greasy mess, and we're going to make some muffins. Well, that was a little bit of a cleanup. I had a little bit of a mess here and had to wait until the burner cooled down so I could set up for my Mediterranean herb muffins. This is a favorite cookbook of mine. I've had it a million years, called The Joy of Muffins, and there's just wonderful breakfast and dessert and main course muffins, and this particular one I just thought would really complement the lamb because it's going to be flavored with Parmesan cheese and basil. Yum! So first of all, I have a bunch of dry ingredients that we need to mix together. We're going to do 1.5 cups of flour, and I've got my sifter set up because it calls for sifting. So 1.5 cups of flour. I need 1 tablespoon of sugar. I need 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, an additional 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. That's in here. And then, it tends to stick. And then it calls for a pinch of salt. Well, back when I got this apron from Mia, she also sent me this really cool set of measuring spoons that do pinches and dashes and things like that. So I'm going to use the little pinch, which actually works out to be 1/16 of a teaspoon, a pinch of salt. Thank you, Mia. And I also need a teaspoon of garlic powder. So I'll just quickly measure that out. There we go. Those are my dries. And I'm just going to sift those together real quick into a bowl. And you'll see here that I have my other 2 flavoring ingredients standing by, which is the Parmesan and the basil. I'll talk to you about the basil. Very interesting. It called for either fresh basil or fresh oregano. And although my local grocery store does have a number of fresh herbs available, it did not have either one of those. But this was kind of the next best thing, which I thought was very cool. This product is called Gourmet Garden. I'll show you in the overhead camera. It is actually semi-dried, semi-fresh herbs, and they happen to have basil, so it keeps for 4 weeks, and it says you're supposed to use half the required amount of fresh. So the recipe called for 1/2 cup of the fresh basil. I'm going to do 1/4 cup of the fresh basil. All right, so now that all of these ingredients are sifted together, I'm going to put in my 1/4 cup of the basil and 1/3 cup of grated Parmesan. Wow, how good is that going to smell once it hits the oven? My oven is preheating at 400, by the way. So I just stir together all the dries, and then like you often do with muffins, we're going to make some liquid ingredients and just, you know, make a well and stir all those together. So just make my well, set that aside. I'm going to pull up a different bowl with 1 egg in it, and I have a whisk over here. Give that a quick whisk. I have 2 tablespoons of butter that I melted in the microwave. So I'll drop those in. And then the last ingredient, I have 1 1/4 cups of fresh buttermilk going in. Look at this. Cameraman Dale was looking at that. He can't even believe how thick and amazing buttermilk is. I cook and bake with buttermilk fairly often these days. I have on Paula's Kitchen a number of times. So it's an intriguing product, buttermilk. We'll be putting them in for 15 to 20 minutes. So let me pull my dries over. Pour this in like so. And they tell you, mix it for only 10 seconds. I'm not timing myself. I'll basically mix it until the flour mixture is wet. How's that? And definitely took me more than 10 seconds to get that flour mixture incorporated. All right, that'll do her now. Let me pull this over. I have lightly greased the muffin tin. And I am going to simply pour these, or not pour these in, but spoon these in evenly to the muffin tins. And they're going in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. I will show them to you when they are done. So that took about 16 minutes or so, and look at these wonderful herb muffins. When cameraman Dale looked at them after I took them out of the oven, he said they reminded him of those wonderful Cheddar Bay biscuits that you get at Red Lobster, which is also made with cheese and herbs. So they sort of look similar, and they certainly smell amazing. I think they're going to be a perfect complement to our lamb. Speaking of lamb, this fella is doing well. It's been just over an hour, so we're about a quarter of a way through the cooking. The onions are soaking into the meat, and the meat juices are soaking into those carrots and potatoes, and we are going to have a fabulous Easter dinner here in a few hours. Join us, okay? We'll see you then. Here we are, finally at the dinner table. Let me say, this has been a long afternoon, has it not?
We started early this morning, preparing all this, getting the lights and everything set up, and I think we started to eat around 5 o'clock. I mean, wow, that's a long day.
Well, when they talk about a slow-cooked meal, they meant a slow-cooked meal.
This smells unbelievable. Just tell me once more, you got this at a local meat market, right?
Yeah, it's actually called the Butcher Block. It's on South Rainbow, and they stock Australian leg of lamb, boneless, which is exactly what the recipe called for. Not an inexpensive cut of meat,
No.
but lamb never is, and it came from Australia, so.
So, yeah, and I'll tell you, they have other stuff in there too. I mean, even buffalo too. Buffalo meat
Yeah,
too.
it's an amazing old-fashioned meat market with the glass cases. It's kind of cool.
All right, we all know that lamb is an acquired taste, but I absolutely love it, and I wish my father was here to taste it. I have got to take a bite of this right now.
His dad did love lamb. He used to get lamb at the Outback all the time. I would have loved to make this for him. I have to say, this is a very elegant meal. Does it taste as good as it looks?
It does.
Let me take a bite of this lamb.
It's just, it's absolutely perfect. The gravy on top of it, and all those, the flavors that you mixed with it.
With the balsamic.
Yeah, the balsamic.
And the tomato paste and the beef broth. It's very subtle though, nothing overpowering.
No.
Tender, 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 which I would have expected.
Very, very, very good, and traditional Easter dinner for some people.
Yeah, let me have a bite of a carrot.
Yeah, I'll do a carrot too, along with you. Oh.
Tender, crisp.
All those flavors.
And the carrot as well.
Have melted into the carrot.
Wow.
Oh.
And a bite of potato. Wow.
Give it a shot.
Dip that in the gravy.
100%.
Wow.
100%. This.
And let me give you a shout out as well to our little muffins.
Oh, yes, the muffins.
Want to share one with me?
Yeah, I'll share one. Let's get
So this is the Parmesan cheese and basil.
All right. A little bit of butter.
Yeah, a little bit of butter, of course. What's a muffin without butter?
And of course, all these recipes will be in the description box.
Of course they will,
Yeah, they
as
will.
ever.
Wow, that's different.
Thumbs up.
That's different. I was expecting to have that cheesy like you get at the
Again,
fish place.
it's very subtle.
It is. It's very subtle.
Wow. I would make these again. Very, very good. Yummy.
100%. Give me one of these. You
Wow.
hit it out of the ballpark again, Paula. But we do have to share this.
We do. Give you a close-up of this beautiful handmade bunny by our friend Kathleen. I'm not putting it away after Easter. That's a guarantee.
No, we're definitely going to keep this one out. This is exquisite. She does all this, I don't know what you call it.
And it's a sparkly yarn. It's just beautiful.
And
So,
and of
it's a
course,
treasure.
and her granddaughter is the one that did our pictures for the
Up
for
on the fridge. We
Yeah.
are blessed.
Not only the fridge, but I took 2 of them and I put them in my office as well.
You did.
I did. And so when I was editing last week, I had those to look at, and it's just perfect. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification button. Anything else you want to tell these nice people, Paula?
I actually do have one thing. Some of you over the years have asked if we ever had a Paula's Kitchen apron for sale, and we did not. Our merchandise supplier didn't have aprons, but we've changed. We are now with Spread Shop, and they do offer aprons, baseball caps, and some other cool stuff. Link in the description box if you want an apron.
Yeah, they even have cases for your
Oh, they do
for your phones.
phone.
Yeah.
Cool stuff on there.
All right, please enjoy this holiday weekend. Hold your family close and tight if you're going to be with them. If not, talk to them on the phone. You know, let's
FaceTime, whatever you can do.
FaceTime, anything you can do. But have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and hope you have a good time, everybody. Bye-bye. We'll see you
Bye,
next time.
everyone.